And for now, I'm going to pass it off to Thomas.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for coming over here. So today our focus is on the Philippines, and as Kelsey has said, we have a good panel here. We have two persons with us. We have Michael Ward from FAS Philippines together with his team. He's going to introduce about the Philippines market and also at the same time introduce about himself too. And I also have we also have a Ray Ko from Hightower, a large importer in the Philippines. He's going to share his experience about working with you folks, the American exporters as well. So this is the Ask Me Anything kind of session. We're going to have quite a long time for quite a bit of time for Q&As. So think about the question you have, and then just put it into the chat group itself. If it's nothing else, I'll pass it over the time now to Mike. Mike, can you just start with your whole session? Introduce yourself. Thank you.
Thomas, thank you. I have a slideshow that we're going to share here in a minute. I'm Michael Ward. I am the agricultural counselor at USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service in Manila, Philippines. I'm honored to be here today to highlight the Philippines as a top export market for U.S. agricultural products and share how USDA works with cooperators, including WUSADA, to facilitate trade. This collaborative effort ensures a reliable source of high-quality food and agricultural products for the Filipino people, while also supporting U.S. agribusinesses, farmers, and exporters. I'd like to briefly describe the FAS Manila office. My deputy, the agricultural attaché here, is Mark Hansel. We're joined by 8 local staff who are the backbone of our office, 3 ag specialists that cover commodity and policy reporting and program oversight, 2 ag marketing specialists focused on trade promotion in partnership with Philippine and U.S. industries, and 3 support staff, although one of them will be leaving soon. They ensure that our office has the resources and reach we need to achieve our mission. The Philippines is a familiar market for many U.S. exporters. It boasts a fast-growing, dynamic economy. It's composed of 3 major island groups, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. The Philippine archipelago is comprised of 7,600 islands, of which more than 2,000 are inhabited by the 118 million person population here. This makes the Philippines the 13th most populous country in the world, and its urban population is increasing by about 2 million annually. From an agriculture-based economy in the 1960s, when agriculture accounted for more than 30% of GDP, the country has shifted towards services, which now comprise 61% of economic output, while the agricultural sector has decreased to just 9%. Our shared history, and which has fostered deep societal bonds between the Filipinos and Americans, is evident in our shared passion for sports, food, and music. American products of all types enjoy exceptionally high and positive brand recognition, yet we believe that U.S. exports to the market have barely scratched the surface of the Philippine market's potential. Unlike many other Asian countries, the Philippine population pyramid indicates above average population growth for decades to come. The core consumer segment of the population, which in the Philippine context is between the ages of 15 and 64, is forecast to grow from 76 million today to 113 million by 2070. This means that the market will add many more consumers over the next 50 years. Conservative estimates for income growth place the Philippines within the upper middle range of gross national income in the next 20 years. With household incomes continuing to rise, the prospects for U.S. agricultural exports are highly favorable. These demographics also mean that the Philippine government continues to prioritize food security through a combination of support to domestic producers and trade facilitative initiatives, such as lowering the tariffs on corn, pork, and rice until 2028. Imports of ag and related products doubled in the past 10 years. The United States remains the number one single country supplier to the market, although ASEAN, Southeast Asian countries, as a group continues to capture a growing market share here. In fact, U.S. market share has slowly eroded over the last 10 years due to tariff disadvantages created by the Philippines negotiating FTAs with other countries and the development of the global food system. I've included a list of the free trade agreements and economic agreements that the Philippines is a party to, along with their effective dates. In March of this year, the Philippines and the European Union agreed to resume negotiations on their FTA, which is something that we are keeping a close eye on. Despite U.S. market share dropping from 22 to 15%, U.S. exports of ag and related products to the Philippines in the past 10 years grew 33%. Totaling $3.6 billion in 2023. Looking at the makeup of exports to the Philippine market, the market is shifting to intermediate products, mainly soybean meal, which has experienced a twofold increase since 2013. Consumer-oriented products are the next largest group, up 63% from 2013. Bulk products, specifically wheat, make up almost a quarter of U.S. exports to the market. Over the long term, U.S. exports have held up well against competition, considering both geographic and tariff disadvantages. The Philippines is poised to become the world's 8th largest market for U.S. ag exports. Based on USDA's Economic Research Service forecast, exports are projected to reach $3.8 billion in 2024, a 5% increase from the previous year. The country's strong economic fundamentals support continued growth. Retail sales are anticipated to maintain steady growth of 7 to 8% annually, which is outpacing the ASEAN average. ASEAN is other Southeast Asian countries. The sector is undergoing a gradual consolidation towards modern retail outlets at the expense of traditional markets, a trend that you see in other Southeast Asian markets as well. Meanwhile, the food service sector is poised to continue double-digit growth, surpassing the ASEAN average of 12 to 13%. The Philippines is a mall-based culture, and eating out at restaurants inside shopping malls and other food service outlets is really driving both the agriculture sector and the demand for imported food products. As is the case in most rapidly urbanizing countries, the most promising prospects are those that have a food service application, but that can also be marketed directly to consumers. We have a list here of the product categories that we think are the best prospects for the market at this time. Cafes and restaurants have rebounded strongly from the pandemic, while bars face challenges due to inflation and changing consumer preferences. Online platforms and quick delivery services are thriving, catering to the busy lifestyle in smaller family units. Food trends are evolving with an emphasis on unique flavors and plant-based, better for you or free from options. Growing awareness of sustainable practices is also influencing consumer choices, driving demand for eco-friendly and ethically sourced products. Niche markets such as premium and super premium foods are also experiencing growth as consumers seek higher quality and distinctive offerings. Shifting out of market constraints, we at USDA and others in the U.S. government are engaging the Philippine government to provide more transparency to the food and agricultural trade. Our office continues to advocate for the issuance of sanitary and phytosanitary import clearances, which are essentially an import permit issued by the Philippine Department of Agriculture with longer validity periods and to cover multiple shipments of products. Second, regarding the Philippines' minimum access volumes, which are tariff rate quotas. The demand for most of the commodities covered by these minimum access volumes, or MAVs, have exceeded imported quantities allowed for the last decade or more. One area where we've seen progress in recent years is the issuance of the Philippine Food and Drug Administration Certificate of Product Registration, where timelines have shortened, although some exporters and importers remain challenged by the labeling requirements associated with FDA CPRs or the CPR approval process in general. This is one area where the FAS office in Manila can assist businesses. Public consultation on implementing a digitized border protection system is ongoing. Finally, our attention does not stop once the product arrives at port. We advocate for risk-based customs and quarantine inspection process to smooth the entry of products into the market. The market is not only constrained by policy, but also by factors intrinsic to the country's development. You cannot change geography, and its archipelagic nature means transportation costs both to and within the country, especially for product originating from the United States, is incredibly high. Cargo often transships through other Asian ports before arriving in the Philippines. This also increases transportation costs. Approximately 80% of seaborne food and agricultural cargo arrives at the port of Manila due to limited port calls at other non-Manila Philippine-based ports. This causes significant congestion. If you visit me at the U.S. Embassy in Manila, you will see container after container truck drive essentially right outside our front door. Those trucks are coming from Manila Port and going down to the southern part of Luzon. Infrastructure development plans have prioritized easing congestion, and numerous ports and port infrastructure projects are underway. Although it has improved over the last 2 decades, cold chain infrastructure also remains spotty, particularly outside major cities once product arrives. FAS Manila successfully launched a umbrella branding campaign called Galing USA this year. Galing is a Filipino word with 2 meanings depending on how it is pronounced. If the intonation is on the first syllable, ga, that means from. If the emphasis is on the second syllable, ling, it means excellent or outstanding. The feedback that we've received on this brand is outstanding. And we hope that through our activities and the activities of WUSADA, the brand can be leveraged. When pairing the word with USA, the brand name Galing USA effectively conveys the origin of U.S. agricultural products and their consistently high standards. In the next fiscal year, we have prepared a year-long series of activities in partnership with various cooperator groups. We will kick this off with a Christmas retail promotion. Christmas in the Philippines has already started in September, and if you visit here from September to December, you will see intense holiday celebrations. FAS Manila will lead buyer delegations to regional and U.S. domestic trade shows to expose Filipino buyers to products and industries and sectors that they normally are not exposed to. On the food service side, we plan a menu promotion and food showcase at the ambassador's residence this spring. We will also organize a broad U.S. food festival, likely in April or May, to capitalize on the favorable weather, and a competition among culinary schools to highlight U.S. food and ingredients. We are actively seeking ways to gain more space in 2025 and beyond to expand the Galing USA Pavilion at WOFEX Manila. WOFEX Manila is the premier food and agriculture trade show in Manila. It is an annual show held in July and August every year. The show is constrained by the footprint, the space of the conference venue. And we annually advocate that U.S. companies receive more space. Space is limited, so if you are interested in exhibiting at the show, which is July and August of 2025, please reach out to our office and the trade show organizers to reserve a booth. Our gain reports are publicly available and free and highlight a number of sectors or policies that are valuable information for would-be food exporters to the Philippines. In addition to the required reporting that FAS Manila does, since 2021, we have done a series of informative voluntary market briefs on specific products, distribution channels, or cities. We encourage you to explore these reports. And I encourage you to continue capitalizing on the exceptional opportunities offered by the Philippine market. It is undeniably the market of the future. Thank you, and I look forward to our discussion.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you. All these slides will be available later on for you guys to actually take a look at. The recording will be available as well. So thank you very much. Right now, we're going to transition into Q&A session with together with our importer. So we brought a real life importer here for everybody to have questions with, together with Michael as well. So we have Ray Cole from Hightower. So just a quick one. Ray is actually runs Hightower does food service and also retail across the Philippines. I've been to the facility. It's really impressive, and Ray is a really open and straightforward person to work with as well. So I'll let Ray introduce a little bit about his company, and after that, I will bring Michael back in. Then we have a Q&A session. Ray, can you share a little bit about you and your company?
Sure. Thank you, Thomas. So my company is a 22-year-old company called Hightower. So I'm an importer and distributor of food products in the Philippines. One difference that we do is we actually import and distribute to hotels and restaurants, food service, and retail as well. There are some companies in the Philippines who only import and rely on distributors, and there are other companies who don't import but buy from importers and only distribute. But we do both, and we run 2 cold storages. I think Michael discussed a while ago the difficulties in cold chain in the Philippines. So like more than 10 years ago, we decided to put up our own cold storage facility to address our own needs. So I import food products, mostly food products, into the Philippines. We do beef, we do meat, seafoods, fruits and vegetables, dairy products, fine foods, French fries, and the like. Right now, my business is around 65% food service and 35% into the retail business. So that's a snapshot of what I do over here. So I do several products from the United States as well. So these are mainly beef, some seafoods, a lot of French fries, some berries, and then some dairy products. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Ray. And you're also doing wine, right now?
Yep. That's a separate company, but I do wine as well.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So let me introduce the panel again. So we have Ray from Hightower. We also have Mike from the FAS office. So if you don't mind, you turn on your camera so everybody can see you, and then we can start the panel discussion as well. So if I can, maybe I can start off with Mike. Maybe Mike, you shared about things like the FTAs that's happening with all the other countries, with the Philippines itself. Just want to find out what are we doing, to try to level up for the US itself. I think it's not so much that the US didn't do anything in the past, but rather the fact that they are doing so many FTAs with other countries, and that put us into this disadvantage. So is there anything we are doing on our side here?
So that is a question for the U.S. Congress and the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative. What I will say is that because the United States has such strong brand recognition here, and because of our shared history in the market, which goes back, over 100 years, and you can't really say that for other countries in Asia. We are a reliable partner. The ties extend culturally. There is a large Philippine diaspora in the United States. There are over 700,000 U.S. citizens that have retired or are living in the Philippines. The cultures are knit together in a way that other cultures in Asia are not. What this means for trade and agricultural products is we are viewed as a very reliable, if not the most reliable partner. We're known for timely shipment. We're known for consistent quality. U.S. companies on this call, can attest to that. These business tenets resonate all the time, and they should continue to resonate as the Philippines negotiate additional FTAs with other partners. There's some U.S. products and U.S. brands that they really can't find anywhere else.
Totally understand it. Thank you. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for that. We have one question before I jump to Ray. We had it from Abigail. How can we participate in the Christmas market? We are an importer and a wine producer. So maybe either Mike or Ramona can help.
So Ramona, if you would come on and share a little bit of detail about that, I would appreciate it.
Sorry, Thomas, I dropped out. My
No
computer
problem.
shut
I
down.
saw you.
Could you just repeat the question, please? I'd be
Yeah,
happy to
it's
answer.
the Christmas market, the one you told us about, I think some time back. So I think you have quite a number of people joining in. So they want to find out how can an importer participate in the Christmas market?
The Christmas holiday retail promotion is we are partnering with the Marketplace. The Marketplace is a chain of retail supermarkets. It's positioned as a high-end brand, and it should be a good platform for most products originating from the West Coast. So products including packaged goods, meat, dairy, fresh fruit, and more would be a good fit for the promotion. Now, other than having displays in the Marketplace outlets, there is also a mall-based activation for more visibility towards the consumers. Our office will announce to importers very soon so that you could meet with the Marketplace and have your products included.
Great. Thank you so much. I think that's a good lead as well. We talked about the products that has been split. And I thought it's a good time to also ask Ray, just a quick question. What is the most successful products you have brought into the Philippines from the US?
I think the bigger volume that I bring in from the United States would be, of course, US meat. These would be beef, a bit of lamb, pork, and also some seafoods and poultry, namely duck and turkey. Of course, chicken's a big item in the Philippines. We do a lot of seafoods. French fries as well. We bring in the Simplot brand. I think the common thing about all these commodities that are successful that I bring in is there are sub agencies who help promote them. So that would be the used potatoes, the US MEF and US peak. I think in any product that we bring in and sell in the market, continuous marketing, continuous product knowledge is very, very important. So these agencies, together with the office of Michael and Ramona, they really help promote it, and that's a very big advantage in the market over other countries.
Great. Thanks, Ray. So I mean, just remind all the exporters and shippers in the participating in this seminars. USATA does have a fund match program that actually helps you and help your importers, right, to promote your product itself. It not only pays for your travel and your show costs, but also promotion costs as well. Do reach out to USATA for help in this area. So I want to ask at this time one question to Mike, which is that what are some of the pitfalls you think we should exporters from the US should avoid or be careful about when they're doing business in the Philippines, things that you can observe from your role?
So one of the pitfalls that I see that exporters, should avoid when doing business in the Philippines is straining the relationships. Filipinos value strong personal connections, and they expect honesty and sincerity in business dealings. Regular communication and visits are essential to maintain these relationships.
Cool. Thanks. Ray, you have anything to say about that as well? I mean, as an importer yourself, what do you see as some of the good things that what I think are pitfalls or good things that practice that exporters should actually have adopt?
Yeah, well, I think you should take advantage for the fact that the Philippines is very United States oriented. I mean, anything from the United States we really love, and that's a big advantage. You put the US product on the shelf over here compared to, let's say, a product from the UK, from Europe, or from Australia. The American product always has an advantage. This is basically because a lot of Filipinos dream of going to the United States. A lot of people actually move there, live there, so they know the products from the US. So I think you should take advantage of that. Plus, like I mentioned a while ago, the embassy with Michael and Ramona actually does a lot of promotion and activation, which really helps. So I think one thing that we have to understand also, sometimes there's a very big misconception because we have a very, very big population. So there are companies in the United States who expect a really big volume into the Philippines. But I think Ramona is at 80% or 85% are below the poverty level. So something like that. So the market actually for premium products and products from the United States are considered a bit more expensive. So we need to temper that expectation of the volume that we can sell in the Philippines. Of course, as reported earlier, the market is moving up. I think the middle class sector is increasing right now, which is a good thing. And if our government just keeps on track, I think there are better days coming over. But right now, a lot of the market would be via the mom and pop stores. They call it the downline over here, wherein people buy very cheap product. But I tell a lot of suppliers, not only United States, is the Philippines is indeed moving up. So it's very good to position yourselves while the market is expanding rather than coming in when the market's already mature and the competition has already had a foothold in the market.
Thanks, Ray. And just in case anybody, I mean, just to remind everybody, the Philippines is 180 million people
We
strong.
will defer to you in terms of letting people in. I see that
So yeah, so the Philippines is actually a very large country, but more importantly, right, it is very young as well. There are many people below the age of 30. So, and consuming food is actually, eating food is actually a very, eating is a big thing in the Philippines. And I cannot share how many times, right? I had so much wonderful food eating in the Philippines. So people so much enjoy food. So as what Ray said, food is a big culture. It's a big part of it. And we are talking about food here. So there's something that everybody should look forward to. I want to ask at this time, maybe to Ray again, what are some of the trends you see that that is on the market itself as an importer, not just from the US products, but any other products that you see?
Well, a lot of foreign brands are coming in, and for example, trends. When you talk about restaurants eating out, like Morton's is coming in. They're opening by the end of November. Gordon Ramsay just opened over here. There is word that Michelin star is finally coming into the Philippines. I don't know if that has pushed through, but in terms of the food scene, it's really improving. I mean, we are way behind countries like Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, but we're slowly getting there. And it's an exciting time for importers like us because we get to bring in more high-end ingredients over here. The government spending a lot on infrastructure, opening up different cities outside of Metro Manila, which is super congested. So that will decongest Manila, but open up markets outside of Manila. So these
Great.
are some of the trends and improvements that we see over here. Of course, these things will not happen overnight, but slowly but surely, we have a big airport that is being constructed, and that will bring in a lot more tourists into the Philippines. I think Philippines last year we did around 7 million tourists, 7 or 8 million tourists, compared to Thailand, who did 30 or 40 million. And we have a lot of good tourist areas. We just need to improve our infrastructure, which we are doing right now. So yeah, I think the market is on its way to expand. Like I said, it's not going to happen overnight, but we're going there.
Great. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, it is actually a pity. Philippines is actually a lot of good places to go to and to visit as well. So, I mean, the numbers are just really doesn't befits the country that's this big and this beautiful. Which comes to the next question, and to tourists itself. I'm not sure whether Michael or Ray you can answer. We read all these things about, a lot of Chinese tourists coming in, but at the same time, there's all this political, instability regarding the Chinese itself. So how does it affect the overall business or people or sentiments? Any one of you, either Ray or Mike, you can just start. Maybe Mike, you want to start?
So just on tourism, I think it is fair to say that Chinese tourists to the Philippines are down from pre-COVID levels. I would also say that the Philippine government is, following on Ray's point, really addressing the challenges in tourism infrastructure. They are building a new airport outside Manila. They have just turned over the domestic airport, the international airport in Manila, to a new operator who is going to renovate it. And there are big plans for Clark Airport, which is a third airport within a 2-hour radius of Manila, as well. So all of this will spur additional tourism from all origins, not just China. I would go back to diversification, and that remains a crucial strategy for both importers and exporters during times of geopolitical risk. We have, as I said earlier, a lot of standing in this market. because of our reputation and reliability as a partner. And that should resonate during times of uncertainty as well.
So thanks for that. I think Mike, you brought a good point that people actually have to diversify in terms of the export. So it's not just over, we have learned so much, when China cut off their market to a lot of the exporters, everybody started diverting it elsewhere. And one of the market was actually Southeast Asia. And I think the USDA is doing a lot to help. There's new funding that came into the market now. And Southeast Asia, especially the Philippines, is one of the focus market too. So we will see actually more activities coming up, more funding, more support from the government for the market here in the next, at least the next 3 to 5 years kind of thing. And that's something that we are seeing the effect now, more activities coming up as well. Which comes to the next question for Ray. Since Ray, you mentioned the question about, you said that about the volume coming into the market. So to temper the expectation of the exporters, to start a bit smaller in terms of the volume coming in for new products. What are some of the things that you really enjoy working with the US companies that you felt you can share from your 22-year experience?
I think they're very nice to work with because we share the same culture. It's very straightforward.
Language straight away.
Yeah, of course, that's number one. It's easy to communicate. And there's a system of working wherein once you get that system on how to deal with American companies, it's pretty straightforward, very easy to adapt to it. I think just to add, if we bring in products for retail, I think one of the bigger challenges here is the high slotting fees or listing fees that the supermarkets require. And outside of that are the promotional requirements that we need to spend for that. I know that WUSATA helps out with that, but there's a lot of, the expenses can be very, very high, which is a barrier with that. I don't know if a lot of United States companies are prepared to shell out that amount of money. But of course, if the supermarket agrees, they see the brand, they see the product, I think it's worth a try. There are promotional requirements that are required by the supermarkets as well. The listing fees, that's a big investment, but promotions, I think that one's practical because if you put the product, I can easily put the product on the shelves, but if it doesn't move, it doesn't help anyone as well. So these are things that need to be addressed on the retail side of the business.
Thanks, Ray. That's a good point. Sometimes people don't really. A lot of the exporters they don't actually see it. But there's actually a lot of investments by the importer, people like you, when they actually bring a new product in. Because not only must you do the promotions, which is a cost, but also all the cost of slotting, or the cost of just the basic investment to get the product started. So if I can say one thing is that maybe not spoken by you, but a lot of the importers are also looking for support from the exporters in terms of giving them a bit more time, a bit more runway to get the products up and not be too quick to actually switch and look for another importers. Because if you do that, right, whatever effort was put in, whatever things were put in, right, kind of go to waste. They don't have the investment, they cannot get it returned as well. And more importantly, you also build a bit of distrust too, in terms of working on your products going forward. Mike, do you have anything to share on this area? Anything to add on this?
No, I don't. I think that Ray, what Ray said was well said. There is sort of the one container threshold where if you're going to import, you really need a plan to import and distribute one container worth of a product.
Right.
That is sort of the minimal commercial viability. Ray may disagree, but that is sort of where, under that, then you are dealing with consolidation of multiple products, and you're talking about multiple CPRs for multiple SKUs, and the degree of difficulty to import the product is because it's not a product, it's products plural, is much higher.
Ray, I think you disagree. So maybe you want to share what you think of a consolidation?
Well, we start with a product. We always consolidate with different products, and of course, because every food product has their shelf life.
Mm.
So we want to avoid carrying too much inventory at the same time. If the product moves slowly at first, um, a lot of products might expire quickly. So what I usually do is I consolidate first and then build up the market with the target of bringing in a whole container later on. I also want to add one of the barriers of developing brands in the Philippines, like for people like us, is the problem of parallel imports, wherein we develop a brand over here and another importer or even the supermarket themselves can go to a trader in the United States and bring it, and a lot of times at a lower cost than what we buy from the supplier directly. So that's a problem as well. I don't know if that can be addressed or can be controlled, but that happens a lot over here.
Yeah, the parent import is a bit hard. I'm not sure. Ramona, please.
I just want to backtrack on because there is a difference between selling to a retailer directly and to Ray. So there might be retailers joining the call. So I just want to point out the difference. First of all, when selling direct to a retailer, your products are slotted, of course, because they own the product. And then they will require marketing support, etc. Now, when retailers promote, they promote across product categories. Um, there is no focus on a brand. So with their broad promotion, which is great, hopefully your brand, stays on the shelf and moves. Otherwise, it gets taken off the shelf and no longer part of their consolidation. And most retailers that import directly have consolidation points in the United States. On the other hand, there are importers such as Ray who build brands. They take care of brands, they invest and ensure that the products are not only sold in supermarkets, but they are distributed in various channels. So those are the pros and cons. So just to give you an idea on the listing fee that Ray is talking about, uh, it is typically $100 per stock keeping unit. So if you're talking about one stock keeping unit across 300 stores for a retail chain, that is an investment of $30,000. So that's the challenge of putting these products on the shelf.
Well, okay, that's much bigger even than in Singapore itself. So a lot more. Thanks, Ramona. I also want to just, to address a little bit of what Ray mentioned about all the support from all those US cooperators that are in the market. So actively in the market, you have California Milk, Potato USA, California Raisins, US Meat, US Poultry. So these are actually even like USATA as well. So so inside this market. So these are the ones that exporters can take advantage of to know if you have products in this area, you do get support from the cooperators coming in. And if you do not get support for your associations that you are with, right, your category you are with, do ask them to help, to fund programs in this market here, because as Ramona and Michael has actually shared, it is actually a big market that's coming, and there's a lot of potential, a lot of affinity for US products. And to actually promote a little bit onto it and get your product onto the market is not that difficult as well. I wanted to emphasize at the same time, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us either in person, just to ask the questions, or you can put it into the chat itself. So we are here to answer your questions. I wanted to ask another question, which is actually back to Ray itself. You know, you talk about slotting fees and Ramona as well. Can you just bring us through the process of getting a product into the market, registration and things like that, so at least everybody understand a little bit about it and the timeline?
Okay, so what I usually do is if there's an interesting product, I request for, of course, the pictures, the specs, the price, and then I present them to the supermarkets first. Of course, I match the product with which supermarket concept that I see fit for it. Just to give additional information, we have several concepts of supermarkets over here, and they cater to different segments of the market. So we have to match your product to the supermarket. We don't want to list product and waste the listing fees in, let's say, for a high-end product, expensive product to a mass market supermarket, because they will not sell over there. So once we present it and there is interest in the product, I will request for the FDA registration documents to be sent over via email, and then we submit that to the FDA over here. So there's a waiting time of around, right now it's around 4 months or so. Used to be 6 months and went to 1 year. Now I think we're 3 to 4 months, which is a big improvement in the Philippines.
Right.
And once that comes out, then we can start with a shipment, be it a consolidated or full container, depending on the product. And then that's where the promotion starts once we put the products on the shelf.
Cool. I mean, just to carry on this area itself, right? From your experience working with the US, is there anything that you feel that okay, let's put it just to say plainly, is there anything that you really dislike, really hate about, you know, some of the practices that the US supplier have? Yeah. Don't worry, we'll still love you after this. Just tell us the truth.
No, and I think with some suppliers that we communicate with, there's not really a gap, but after a few exchange of communication via email, it just suddenly stops. I know that sometimes there are supply issues, or sometimes I feel that the Philippines is very small compared to other markets, so they give importance to other bigger markets. I may be wrong. There may be different reasons for that, but I've encountered a lot of suppliers wherein I spoke to them, and suddenly there's no reply anymore. Another thing is once we agreed on several products, they are unable to complete the FDA registration documents. I think one of them would be because the market size isn't that big, and to have a certificate of analysis tested by a third-party lab costs a lot of money. I think that's one of the barriers which we need to look at.
Okay. I mean, I heard of ghosting when you're dating, but I didn't realize that even in the, you know, you import, you get ghosted as well. Ray, one of the, would you mind if you share your email with the audience here? Some of them are asking, you know, whether they can connect with you.
Oh, sure. In the chat section,
Okay.
right?
Yeah,
Let me type it out.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you can as well. I wanted to, at this time, right, you know, one of the ask maybe in terms of the promotions that we have going forward, right, for FAS office. Besides this Christmas, I think what might share with us for next year in terms of the things, what other things do you think that as cooperators we can do to help in terms of support FAS effort to reach out to more importers and to also promote more products into the market? Maybe Mike or Ramona can share a little bit.
a couple of things. We are still, assessing the new cooperators that will come into the market due to the USDA's Regional Agricultural Promotion Program, RAP. There are a number of new industry associations that are going to come here this year, next year, and in the future. Additionally, there is those cooperators who are active in the market, including WUSADA, are receiving additional funding to do activities. So it's very much we're very much in a mode of how can we assist what is likely a rapid escalation in activities. Just this week is an example. We have got 4 USDA cooperator associations doing activities that I am speaking at this week. Actually, it's not really this week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days. Supporting all of those activities to the level that we were known for and we need to do is our priority. And there are more players entering the market. What I would like to see is our footprint at the WOFEX trade show is already very large, but I would like it could be even larger. And there will be a challenge to get the space, but it sends a message to that trade show organizer and others that the U.S. is keen on this market and sees it as a market for the future. And that 15% market share that we have for all food and agricultural products is important, and given the demographic trend here, it means that U.S. exports are going to grow substantially in the next 50 years.
Cool, thanks. And you know what, you're right. I mean, I've been to WOFEX. They are now shifting some of the local exhibitors, right, from the Philippines, shifting them upstairs away from the main hall just to make space for everybody else. But space is really an issue. Ramona, you have a question?
Oh, yes, sir. I'd like to answer the question that you posed. What else can WUSATA and its member companies do? Both Mike and Ray emphasized the close cultural and historic ties between the Philippines and the United States, which we should all leverage. Now, my generation, we are very familiar with everything USA. However, I have noticed that the younger generation might not have that same exposure. As a matter of fact, culture from within the region is getting stronger and stronger. So at one point, the United States took advantage of this, movies, sports, etc., and then became lax about it. So U.S. companies are promoting the brand or the product without the American theme or American essence. And so I encourage U.S. companies, especially here in the Philippine market, to start bringing back that U.S. So a flag, maybe let's say you're wanting to do a social media post. Social media is huge here in the Philippines. Everyone's on Facebook and messaging apps. And so always have that American touch to it, a flag, maybe a logo or a mark. And next, if I could just, Thomas, if it's okay, may I just respond to Nicole's comment? Is there
Yeah.
polarization? Is there
Yes, please do,
polarization
please
in
do.
the Philippines for USA products for low price points and ultra premium price points, with the middle range disappearing? To answer your question, I want to go back to what Ray mentioned about the disparity in income level. So just to give you give you some perspective, with 118 million people, 20% of that would be the upper 2 decile, so 20% of the population. Now, it means that these are people who have money to spend, or they purchase imported products occasionally. So enough money. And then you have the middle class and then the lower income class. Having said that, the breadth and width of U.S. products across the United States is just much more than any other single country can offer. And so we have products coming in for low income range or across the board. A good example is U.S. Wheat. So it's milled
Right.
into flour and it becomes a local bread called pandesal, which every Filipino consumes. And then we have the intermediary products that goes into manufacturing, food processing, so on and so forth. And then the super premium products. So there is a market here in the Philippines for every US product.
I would,
Thank you.
I would go on and say that I don't think that the middle range is disappearing. I think it's going to grow. It's going to grow because fertility rates are dropping. The government is taking the infrastructure challenges seriously, and there's a lot of infrastructure development that is in process, and that is going to empower, both of those things are going to empower the middle class.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to say that, I'm just two things. One was that I read somewhere, I think one of the game reports that the embassy came up with, FAS came up with, I think it was a few years back. In the Philippines, right, there's at least 20% of the household, I think it was like, millions of them, that has about, $14,000 to $15,000 US a year in terms of income. So actually, as a household, it's quite big as well in terms of as a market for us to even to market to. And I think the other thing that I think where the embassy puts put the money where the mouth is that if you look at the slides that Michael shared earlier on, right, there is actually for I think next year there's going to be an outdoor USA food festival. It's something that if you are into sauces, into products, into food, you can actually take part in as well. So it's something you can help with. Christine, you have a comment?
Yeah. I just wanted to add that we also have overseas Filipino workers abroad sending money back to the Philippines. So
Exactly.
that is a large plus in terms of spending. So, and it has increased versus last year. So that's also the reason why the middle income class is growing.
Right, the OFW. Thank you. Thanks for that. Those are the overseas foreign workers, and that's actually a big part of remittance coming back to the Philippines. And we see that, and that's part of culture coming back, flowing back to the US, into the Philippines too. We are about time, so I just want to see any last comments from Ray and from Mike to share.
Yeah, Thomas, I think one of the concerns in our food shows over here is our space is very, very limited. I know that the USDA has a big footprint over there, and it's very hard to expand that further given that we don't have a bigger space I mean, the government's planning something bigger, but that will happen maybe in 3 years. If I can suggest maybe that Musata can get a booth in the USDA area, and producers and suppliers can consolidate, send products to you, and display them over there together with their catalogs and maybe contact numbers, and just send one representative to man the products there. I'm sure that a lot of supermarkets, importers will visit, and if there's anything that's interesting, any product that's interesting, they can reach out and exchange emails or messages, or with someone from Wusata to put everyone together. I know it's expensive to fly over here, given that you don't know how big or the market potential here. So I would suggest maybe just one stall, then put different products together, consolidate everything, and have a representative manning and explain the products over there.
That's a very, very good idea, Ray. And it's something definitely I can bring it back to Wusata. And it's something that I've seen other organizations doing as well, TIFEX and
Yeah.
things like that. It's what we call a showcase. Makes good sense. We just started it. I think it's a good idea. We can do that. Yeah, thanks.
I would just
yeah.
conclude
Mike.
by, saying that we welcome you to visit the Philippines, assess the market for yourselves. If you do, please let us know. We'd be happy to visit with you one-on-one or with WUSADA as a group in the future.
Thanks, Mike. Christine.
I just
Okay.
wanted to say,
Mm.
just wanted to say, feel free to reach out to us. Ramona indicated in the chat our email address. So if you need any assistance, just send us an email. We'll be happy
Thank you.
to assist you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Ag Manila. Thank you very much for that. Kelsey, back to you.
Yeah, thank you all so much. I'm going to send up a follow-up email, not today, but probably tomorrow for sure before the end of the week with a recording of this. And if there was anyone that shared a presentation, that if you could send me the PDF, I'll have that attached as well. And if you missed the email addresses and you want to talk to one of these folks here, just feel free to send me an email and I can get you connected with them. So yeah, thank you all so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Ray. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, team there. Thank you. Bye.